ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us here. I wanted to take a moment to introduce Armstrong here at Tip Top Capital because he just finished wrapping up a historic deal here at Tip Top Capital. So we just wanted to hear his thoughts. Maybe if you're a business owner out there, something he's saying might inspire you. If you're a broker, or if you've worked in the alternative lending space or funding space, maybe you'll hear something here that might inspire you to also want to provide these types of products in the future. So I have here with me Armstrong. Armstrong, thanks for your time.
Benny, thank you very much, Benny. I appreciate you having me, and you work very hard with me in order to get a lot of these transactions done. And one of the things I would like to say is that we work extremely hard here at Tip Top Capital to achieve our goals, and not only that, a lot of us sacrifice a lot of time away from our family to make sure that these businesses get funded and get what they want. Sometimes it can be very tedious, very difficult for some of these things to be done, but Vinny's the type of guy that no matter what the situation, he stays with you and he works hard with you.
Hey, and I appreciate it. This is we'll try not to make this about me today. It's about you because you just finished funding a $1.2 million SBA loan, correct?
Yes, I did. And it was a healthcare company down in Virginia. They used to be more of a mom and pop healthcare. They were a home health aid, plus he was a healthcare business. His wife, him and his wife, they actually grew that business in that Virginia area, Blackburn area, and they've really done great for what they've done the last 8 or 9 years. They put a lot of people to work. Home health aid is one of the hardest things, one of the hardest job that can be done. My mom was a home health aide for 35 years, so it's not easy. And not only that, it's very hard to get the right people to work for you as home health aide. And plus you're dealing with doctors, you're dealing with nurses, and the medical business is very difficult to do. And this gentleman has done very well in developing and growing, having the right people working for him for that business to grow.
Yeah, and I can see how strong business relationship you've built with your clients over time. Mm-hmm. And it's fascinating because have you ever met them in person?
I've never met them in person, but there's one thing that you gotta do when you actually speak to people on the phone. You gotta get connection and you gotta establish relationship. Relationship is one of the main things. When I say relationship is that there's a thing about connection. And connection means that you and that person fit in the same category. You understand each other. You understand what they're really looking for. Yes, sometimes you'll have your disagreement, but you gotta connect with that merchant, and you gotta make that merchant like you, and you gotta want to become his favorite. Fine, he's gonna get other people that call him. People's gonna say this, but if you have a good relationship with that merchant, good things gonna happen.
So you mean to tell me that out of all the people that have called this gentleman, and he's received numerous phone calls, you never met him in person, somehow over an amount of time you built enough rapport with this gentleman to which you were able to, he was able to entrust with you to put together a full package application and fund him $1.2 million.
One of these things about lending is trust. Lending is about trust. Yes, I get it. Sales is great. We all want to do great sales. But the guy on the other phone, you want him to get your trust. You want him to actually believe that you're going to do the right job for him. Okay? And not only that, get him what he really needs. Okay? Let's not play around the bush. Just let's discuss what you want. What's going to make this happen for you? Tell me what's good. Okay, tell me if I gave you this, is it gonna work for you? Is it gonna be the right thing that I could put this money into your bank account, that it's gonna be good for your business and develop that business? Yeah, that's the business side, but you also have to establish relationship. The guy trusts me. The guy's like, I trust you're gonna give me the right thing. I like you, and the guy you're bringing with me, which is Vinny, he does the right thing. He's the good guy who comes up, and that guy works days and nights to make sure it happens. And Vinny, I appreciate it.
We have worked days and nights on and it's been fascinating because you and I, we began working in an industry where it's weekly daily payments. In fact, that client, I believe he had one or two of those. We're able to consolidate that weekly payment type of funding that he received, and he was making payments on it every single week. It was stripping his cash flow. We're able to convert that, consolidate that, pay off a few other things, and not only that, get him extra liquidity he can use to expand his operations.
Absolutely.
Which is the weekly fundings and the immediate working capital. It's very, very tough to accomplish that. When you have an SBA, you have a little bit more
room to work with.
Yeah, a lot more.
And then not only you have a lot more room, you got enough leverage, because when you have people working for you, I mean, you got payroll that comes up. And on a realistic basis, listen, business owners are the hardest thing to deal with because you can't sleep at night. You got to think about paying that guy overheads and all this other stuff. I think the SBA, what took place with this, we created enough capital for this gentleman to actually open up the highways for him. Now he can literally expand that, that healthcare business, put more people to work, make life easy for others, and don't have to actually shortchange hardworking people. I mean, I think funding a healthcare business was probably one of the best things. It made me happy because this is what my mom did. For what she was making an hour back in the 80s and 90s, making $9 an hour, it was a little bit insulting. But on a realistic basis, I think helping this guy, making him, growing that business so he can put, these hard single moms to work and making life easy for them, to me, that's the best thing I could ever help somebody, and it makes me feel appreciated and make you feel appreciated.
It certainly does. And I know this is not your first SBA loan. You and I have worked on several over the last year. In fact, when we began in 2023 working on SBA loans, we only provided somewhat of a handful. Since then, we've been able to fund almost, right now we're about to we're projected to hit about 40 SBA loans by the end of the year, which is, from you and I, we never really had that option, until we started adopting these relationships with certain banks, to where now we have clients that are inundated sometimes with daily, weekly payment fundings, or they want to buy a building, or they want to buy out a partner, or there's so many different reasons for the SBA loan. And you've been able to facilitate a bunch of them. And in fact, this wasn't the only SBA loan, although it was the biggest one, only in the month of May. But you've been able to provide several others. What do you think that they have in common, a lot of these other SBA loans?
Well, I think for me, I always look at it as a person that's trying to help the next guy. So, great, cash advance, that person needs that money right away to take care of the business. But if I can go to the next step to help that business owner stay in business and give him an SBA that's going to open the doors for him and put more money into his bank account to make that business work, this is the avenue that we need to. Let's make the business owner's life easy. Let's give the business owner the freedom that they need with their family in order to manage their business.
That said, ladies and gentlemen, we'll just go over a few basic details about who could potentially get an SBA 7A loan. Of course, we refer to the 7A program, which is a 10-year program. Many banks offer that. Almost every bank has that program. But what's different here is we're very customized. We work with the client, like Armstrong said earlier, day and night, where we're evaluating the business, we're strategizing with them what would be the best bank depending on certain criteria. Basic criteria needed: 640 minimum credit score and experience, typically 1 to 2 years, preferably 2 years or more in business, and usually, in order for an SBA loan to pass, what the bank is looking for is cash flow. How is the business cash flowing? That they're trying to evaluate how much of their excess income is going towards paying debt versus how much do they have available for operating expenses. And that ratio, that debt service coverage ratio, is what's going to help is is what's most likely gonna help the loan pass and get approved. So it's a big step. It takes how long usually, I'm sure? We've done deals that have been 2 to 3 weeks.
2 to 3 weeks, some
and
goes 5.
Very fast SBA bolts. We've done those.
Yeah, like when you blink your fingers, I mean, within like a week or two, just like with the gentleman, it's just like click, boom. I mean, in Florida, the guy got the money like, it's like, and he made less money, but because his credit and his cash ratio was actually balanced out, very little debt, the money actually cleared this guy in less than, before he blinked, the money was sitting in his bank account.
We've had from that fast to SBA loans taking up to 4 months. If there's a validation error that comes up on the SBA side, and still what we're able to do is where that could have taken 6 months with no action and no follow-up, we'll compress the time, because what we're doing is we're constantly following up with the necessary parties to make sure that we can expedite the process. So there's a lot going on. What's the maximum that we can approve on an SBA 7A loan? Is $5 million.
About $5 million.
We can go up to $5 million, and that can be used for all the different purposes that we mentioned.
Yep.
So, Arshad, anything else you want to share with the audience?
Well, I just want everyone to know that we here at Tip Top, I mean, we want business owners to feel comfortable with us. I mean, we want the business owners to feel happy. I want that business owner to call me back after I fund them and say, hey man, thank you for helping me. I want him to call Benny and say, hey, you know man, you really helped me a lot. You expanded my business, you put people to work, good things happen, and I really want business owners to be happy so other people can go to work. So, you know what, Benny, thank you for helping me, and thank you for working with me, and thank you for working for TikTok to make this a possibility.
Thank you, Armstrong. And a question for the audience: who is going to be the next business owner that receives a $1.5 or $2 million SBA?
Or a $5 million
Who knows?
SBA.
That's right. Who knows? Maybe you'll be working with Armstrong on the
Maybe
next
you'll be working with me.
said.
Call Armstrong. Let's put money in your bank account.